Andre has always been someone who knows how to create a distinctive atmosphere for moments he believes could become turning points in someone's life. But when planning a surprise trip for Ashley, he is well aware of the boundaries she often sets between passion and responsibility. Ashley's work has never allowed her true freedom. Her every schedule is bound by commitments, by the burden of honor her family expects of her, and by the obsession with maintaining the image of a woman who would never easily trade her ideals for fleeting moments of personal happiness. Andre recognizes this, so instead of forcing Ashley to leave everything behind and escape the city, he quietly transforms his small apartment into a parallel world, where all the barriers of the outside are locked behind a closed door. Soft yellow lights, classic jazz playing, Andre's hand guiding Ashley into that imaginary space, a place where they are free to be themselves without fear of judgment or the watchful eyes of those always ready to scrutinize their every gesture. Their dance steps begin hesitantly but quickly become fluent, mirroring the harmony of two souls who have suppressed personal desires so many times just to fulfill responsibilities to family, colleagues, and community. Sometimes their eyes meet for a long time, and there is nothing left to hide except the silent understanding that leads Ashley to question the true limits of this relationship. Andre shares memories of his youth, unfinished dreams, times he almost lost himself out of fear of society's criticism, while Ashley remembers the period when she thought she'd never again feel the excitement she once did in her early years. But when the music slows down, Andre and Ashley still do not let go. Their fingers interlocked as if even a moment's slackening would pull them both back into the harsh reality outside that door. At that very moment, Dany's appearance sweeps in like a cold wind into the warmth-filled space. Dany is always vigilant about the relationships surrounding those she cares about, especially when such connections threaten the fragile order of the family. When Dany happens to witness Ashley and Andre together, she doesn't show surprise, but inside she feels a nameless unease. Dany knows that Andre was once her confidant, the one who always listened and the only person brave enough to face her darkest sides. Yet, what unsettles Dany most is the feeling that she is losing her special place in Andre's life when she sees him devote that gentle gaze to Ashley. There is no need for words. Just observing the way Andre and Ashley move together in the small space, or seeing their eyes quietly meet amidst the music, Dany realizes that the line between friendship and desire has been crossed. However, instead of becoming angry or intervening, Dany quietly steps back, listening to her own breathing and the rhythm of the changing space around her, ultimately accepting that she cannot control every relationship, nor can she dictate the emotions of those she loves. Just as everything seems to be flowing according to the romantic script Andre had planned, an unexpected incident occurs when Ashley's phone rings with urgent company notifications. The abrupt return of reality immediately forces Ashley to leave the imaginary world, and the sparks that had just ignited between her and Andre are instantly smothered by anxiety over duty, over the consequences of even a moment's indulgence. Andre stands silently, watching Ashley's figure fade behind the door, his heart mixed with regret and a touch of pride that he did not hold her back when she had to choose between love and responsibility. But deep in Andre's eyes remains a faint hope that, although the night could not be complete, it was enough to rekindle within Ashley a longing to live for herself, for feelings she had never dared to name. As for Ashley on her way back, the echoes of that special evening replay endlessly in her mind. She wonders if she has been too reckless in letting herself be swept away by undefined emotions, or if it is actually a reminder that no matter how strong a person is, there is always a vulnerable part within that needs soothing. Ashley does not blame Andre for creating that space. On the contrary, she is grateful to him for showing her that life still has many things to look forward to, even when facing her own strictness and the judgmental eyes of others. She thinks about Dany, about how Dany might not easily accept the relationship between herself and Andre moving beyond the bounds of friendship, but Ashley also knows that in this life, no one can forever remain an outsider to their own emotions. In the days that follow, as she returns to the grind of work, Ashley realizes that everything has changed. She is no longer alone at late dinners, no longer feels empty looking at herself in the mirror each morning, because just by closing her eyes, She can see herself dancing in that yellow-lit space, feel Andre's warm hand, and somewhere in the distance, hear Dany's sigh between the brink of acceptance and loss. Though Dany never says it, she always quietly watches over Ashley's every step, silently guarding the boundaries she believes will protect everyone from pain. Yet even Dany cannot deny that sometimes letting the ones you love make their own choices is the only way for them to grow. Andre knows well that Dany's unexpected appearance that night was not only a reminder of the complexity of relationships but also a test of his and Ashley's courage. In the days that follow, Andre does not try to contact Ashley, nor does he try to explain to Dany. He chooses silence, trusting that everything will find its way when each person is brave enough to confront their true feelings. The apartment returns to its usual quiet, but the traces of those recent moments still linger in every corner. A reminder that however short life may be, it is long enough for those who dare to be true to themselves, even if only for one night. The story of Andre, Ashley, and Dany does not end there. It quietly seeps into every breath, every decision, every glance exchanged in later meetings. In each of them exists a private obsession about boundaries, about betrayal, about loneliness, about the hope of being accepted and forgiven. Yet it is exactly these things that have made them stronger, more appreciative of fragile moments that may seem trivial but in truth have the power to change a life. When everything returns to its usual order, none of them are quite the same. Andre continues with his work. Ashley is once again busy with new projects. Dany maintains her habit of observing all the changes around her. But deep inside, there is a silent transformation only those involved can truly feel. Relationships that cannot be named, emotions that cannot be defined, choices no one can make for anyone else. All these create a multi-layered, complex, but uniquely beautiful picture, because it is real, it is painful, and it is the longing to break through all barriers to truly live as oneself, even if only for a night. On the night Andre and Ashley immersed themselves in their own little world, what seemed like perfectly normal signs to most became suspicious in the eyes of an outsider as sensitive to change as Dany. By nature, Dany is someone who does not easily accept losing control over the relationships around her, especially when she has had her own ambiguous, private moments with Andre, secrets the two of them have never truly faced. From the moment she saw the lights still on in Andre's apartment at an hour when he rarely entertained guests, Dany felt something was off. A gut feeling that kept growing until she could no longer sit still in her familiar space and was compelled to verify her mounting anxiety. When Dany decided to show up at Andre's building, she carried with her a mixture of anger, worry, and a longing to confirm the suspicions that had weighed on her for so long. She watched quietly from afar, noticing the unusual intimacy in the way Ashley and Andre interacted. Each glance, each gentle touch, each awkward smile trying to hide the excitement they thought no one else would notice. For Dany, it all felt like a silent betrayal, not just of herself but of the undefined memories between her and Andre that never had a name. That feeling overwhelmed her, pushing Dany to stop being a bystander and confront the truth right then and there, in the very place that once felt like a safe haven for her and Andre. Entering Andre's apartment, Dany didn't need many words to shatter the atmosphere. Her very presence was enough for Andre and Ashley to realize that nothing could be hidden any longer. Facing them both, Dany didn't try to hold back her emotions. Instead, she let her outrage, disappointment, and old pain surge forth, overpowering any sense of reason. She looked Andre in the eye, searching back through every memory, every ambiguous moment she had always believed was a special bond no one else could intrude upon. Dany wondered if she had been wrong to think Andre would always be the first person she turned to when vulnerable, or if she simply hadn't been brave enough to define her place in his life. Ashley's presence, the woman who could evoke in Andre emotions Dany thought belonged to her alone, became the catalyst for all the unnamed hurt to erupt into uncontrollable anger. Dany didn't hesitate to express her dissatisfaction, directly questioning the true nature of Andre and Ashley's relationship, the boundaries they had crossed, and the things they had hidden not only from Dany but also from themselves. In that tense atmosphere, old secrets began to surface. Ashley realized she could no longer avoid the truth and was forced to confront Dany with an honesty she had never shown before, admitting that her feelings for Andre had long surpassed ordinary boundaries. She spoke about her loneliness, her moments of weakness, and how Andre was the only one who ever made her feel truly alive, able to be herself despite the expectations and norms imposed by others. Andre, too, lost his usual composure as he confessed to Dany the confusing mix of friendship, gratitude, longing for love, and fear of hurting the two most important women in his life. Each word spoken was like a knife, slicing through the fragile balance that had existed among the three, stirring up old memories as well as new hopes that hadn't yet had time to take shape. The atmosphere in the apartment gradually became suffocating, as the confrontation moved beyond a typical jealous outburst and turned into a deep psychological battle, forcing each person to face their own wounds, fears, and true desires. Dany felt betrayed, not just because she lost her unique place in Andre's heart, but because she realized she had long deceived herself about the nature of their relationship. Ashley's candor made Dany see that what hurt most was not the intimacy between Andre and Ashley, but her own fear of losing control over her emotions and the flow of relationships around her. In that moment, all their masks fell away, exposing old wounds that had never truly healed, empty spaces no one could fill, and the longing for understanding and love that weighed on all three. The noise of that confrontation didn't stop at Andre's small apartment but quickly spread, becoming the subject of whispers throughout the Dupree family. Each member had their own judgments, memories, and obsessions, making the atmosphere at home increasingly stifling, like a psychological bomb waiting to explode. Some sided with Dany, believing she had every right to protect what was hers. Others sympathized with Ashley for daring to live true to her feelings, while others still blamed Andre for letting everything spiral out of control. What seemed like a private matter became a mirror reflecting all the long-buried insecurities and conflicts within each family member, forcing them to face themselves, their pasts, their unspoken truths, and the boundaries that were on the verge of breaking. The Dupree family, long proud of their unity and flawless exterior, now had to witness ever-widening cracks that could not be mended, all triggered by a confrontation between three people who had never dared to live honestly with their feelings until it was too late. In the days that followed, Dany became more withdrawn than ever. She avoided conversations and even limited interactions with those closest to her. Each time she saw Andre or Ashley, she felt her loss acutely, but she also realized that holding on to such an ambiguous affection only brought her more pain. Andre buried himself in work, using busyness as an excuse to avoid facing the consequences of his choices. Ashley, meanwhile, was lost in conflicting thoughts, torn between guilt over hurting Dany and a longing to continue experiencing feelings she had never fully allowed herself. The Dupree household was no longer peaceful. Arguments, whispers, and scrutinizing looks became more frequent, serving as a reminder that in any community, no matter how well secrets are hidden, they will eventually come to light, and the price for that truth is never predictable. In the end, even though there was no explosive scene of jealousy or dramatic spectacle, the confrontation between Dany, Andre, and Ashley was powerful enough to shake not only the three of them but also the entire network of relationships within the Dupree family. Each carried their own wounds, but at the same time learned to accept that no one can control the feelings of others forever. The price of growing up is sometimes the pain of loss, the relinquishing of positions we once thought were ours forever, and the courage to face the truth, even if it means shattering everything we once believed in. The Dupree family would never be the same, but it is precisely these collisions and wounds that become the catalyst for change, for the desire to live authentically, and for the beginning of new stories whose endings no one can yet predict.